Hello YouTube and Infinite Magic Raid players! So today we're going to bring a video that I've been waiting to put out for a little bit of time now. And what we're covering is Mamello. So I know in the past I was saying that I wanted to get his E5, I wanted to run some tests and so on and so forth before I really put out a video on him. And now I've done a decent bit of testing. I've played him in a few different formats, the Wuthering Coast, the Faction Abyss, the Tower of Mark, so on and so forth, even Guild Boss, and he is quite the phenomenal hero. I do love this guy. He's probably the best PvE-based Elemental City hero that we have, most versatile. And right here is the build that we're running. So we're using about 1.2 million HP, a decent bit of speed, a decent bit of effect hit, and a decent bit of mastery. And the reason for the HP and why we've gone so heavy into it is because one, he's an HP burner, and HP burn scales with HP obviously. And two, his damage is unique in a sense that it's percent based damage. And I've tried a few different builds, and this seems to be the most consistent for me, the most damage. I'll show a few battles with him, so that way you guys get a feel of what this type of build does. For the Echo, we're using the Adeline stamp. I know for Wuthering Coast, sometimes I'll swap between this one and the Adeline stamp, depending on like what I'm feeling like. But with if I were to get an Adeline, I would probably use this stamp and then put this stamp on Adeline, just because Adeline is the main DPS in that. Whereas Mamelo is more of a support DPS. But currently in my Wuthering Coast build, Mamelo is a main DPS along with Anji Hin, and Mamelo's damage is right on par with Anji. So we wanna boost his damage, and that's why we're using the stamp. For our emblems, we're running this right here. We've got attack support trees, and we've gone a decent little mix in both. Reason why we're not using this one is because his HP is never full. And let's see, in here, yeah, direct damage doesn't really help for him. So this is what we've got. The blessings that we're using, we've got a mastery and HP burning bonus, and some HP rates. We haven't even put the dwarven blessings yet, but I need some more effect res blessings. I would probably put some things like that on him if I had them. But I don't, so we just haven't put anything on him, and that's fine. He's, PvE hero. Don't necessarily need, I could probably put like stun resistance or something on him. Do I even have stun resistance? No, I don't. But that's okay, no worries. So this is what the Mamelo looks like, and I think that it's important that we go ahead and start talking about his kit, so that way you guys can better understand the damage now. I did make a video about this in the past, but we'll very quickly go through it. A big part of his kit is the Rising Sun, Setting Sun, Blazing Sun. So if we read this passive right here, this explains these different buffs. So when deals damage to a target with higher max HP than self, the extra damage dealt by a Flaming Strike, Gleaming Throw, and Sunlight combo will be calculated on the target's max HP instead, caps at 300% of the original damage. So basically, like right here where it says that he does 10% of his max HP and extra damage by 10% of his max HP, if you're attacking somebody that has more HP than you, it's based off of their HP. So the HP build for me is more so wave control, if that makes sense. And let's see. Additionally, at the beginning of each wave, Mamelo gains Rising Sun. At the beginning of Mamelo's turn, if self HP percentage is less than 60%, Rising Sun will be converted to Setting Sun. If not, Rising Sun will be converted into Blazing Sun. At the end of Mamelo's turn, they're both reverted back to Rising Sun. So Rising Sun increases the ally's shielded effect by 35%. The Blazing Sun is an offensive ability, and it increases his HP deduction, and increases their damage dealt. Whereas the Setting Sun is more so a defensive recuperative ability, and it doesn't consume HP anymore, and they are changed to restore the HP, and these effects aren't affected by healing effects. So basically, instead of deducting his HP, he does the same amount of HP restoration, and it just depends on how much HP he has. And exclusive 4, each time that this Rising Sun is converted to Blazing Sun, deals extra damage by 2% or 2.6% of his max HP to all enemies and restores all allies' HP by 5% of their max HP. This extra damage is considered as HP burning and can be affected by Dazzling Sunlight. So Dazzling Sunlight, where were we at with this? Dazzling Sunlight doesn't exist. Oh, Dazzling Sunlight's the passive, sorry. So yeah, that would be basically the Rising Sun, Blazing Sun, Setting Sun. So the Setting Sun versus Blazing Sun, it'd be those effects. This extra damage can be affected by those effects, essentially. So we'll start with the basic attack, and what this is it deducts 7% of max HP from self. Afterwards deals damage by 10% of his max HP and extra damage by 10% of his max HP to a single enemy. With a 60% chance to inflict Sun's Punishment on the target. So Sun's Punishment will, let's see, where can we find the Sun's Punishment? Right here. So when the enemy with Sun's Punishment takes damage from HP burning, Mamello will grant allies with no more than 3 layers of shield a shield equal to 20% of his max HP for 2 turns. This is also why the HP is so good for him. And the Sun's Punishment does not take into consideration damage considered as HP burning damage. It's only HP burning damage. So, for example, your AHJ, for example, that puts those HP burn stacks on the boss. When the boss takes its turn and those stacks are quote-unquote triggered, that's when the shield will take effect. It's not from, like, his S1, his S2, his S4, they can't trigger it. Nered, she can't trigger it. Anything that does damage considered as HP burning, from, like, a trigger of it, like, let's pull some examples, because it's really confusing the way that works. HJ, for example. So she inflicts HP burning, and then the HP burning takes effect. So before the inflictor, or before the enemy takes action, right? That's when HP burning will trigger, and that's what applies to shield. But when you're looking at skills like Mamello's or even Nered here, where she is HP burning, it says the damage is considered as HP burning. This S1 is not going to trigger the shield effect. Only the HP burn stacks that trigger when the boss or whoever takes their turn, that's going to be what triggers the shield effect. So don't get too confused with that. I was definitely like trying to figure this out for some time, but that's how that works. It's a bit confusing that HP burning damage and damage considered as HP burning are different. But it is what it is. So that's how that works. And then with exclusive 2, it increases the HP burning damage taken by boss or by enemies with Sun's Punishment by 25%. So basically, if once you do this basic attack, all of the HP burning damage that is done is increased by 25%. And then if the target is a boss, it additionally increases their damage by 25%. Additionally, when the enemy with Sun's Punishment takes damage from HP burning, Mamelo will grant allies with no more than 4 layers of shield a shield equal to 20%. Now that right there, yeah, so it increases the amount of shield that you can have in order to get the shield. So like if you have 4 layers now, you can get the shield, but if you have 5, you won't. So that's what the exclusive 2 does, is it increases the amount of shield that you can have in order to receive a shield, and it increases damage taken. So it's kind of a confusing ability, but still good nonetheless. More so the damage increase than the shielding, but you want both. So the S2, it increases self-max HP cap by 50% for 2 turns. This is a really good ability, especially with the exclusive 1. It increases all allies' max HP cap by 50% for 2 turns. And the reason why this ability is so good is 1, extra HP is more sustainability. So that's always great. And then 2, with HP burners, and typically in like Wuthering Coast or even Guild Boss or even Dungeon Farming, when you use HP burners, with Mamello, because they synergize well, increasing their max HP cap increases their damage done because it's scaled off of HP. So the more HP they have, heroes like Panda, heroes like Nordak, those all will increase your HP burning damage. So the S2 increases the max HP cap by 50% for 2 turns, and then deals 2 stages of damage to all enemies, each of which deducts 7% of max HP from himself and deals damage by 3% of Mamelo's max HP and extra damage by 3% of Mamelo's max HP. Now remember, all of these skills, if it is a boss, they will do, they will calculate off of the boss HP instead, or not, the target's max HP, because most bosses will have more HP than what your heroes have in like later stages. So it's a bit confusing, and then that caps at 300% of the original damage. So whatever this 3% of Mamelo's max HP is, so let's say you've got 1,000,000, that would be 30,000? I think that's about 30,000. 3%, yeah. So, and then plus like, say like 33,000 for having this stat right here. It would then be based off of the boss's HP and caps at 300%. So if the boss has like 3 times this amount of HP, it could do like 100,000, something like that. Sorry, math. I didn't write down any equations or formulas before I made this video. Just doing rough figures, but all of these numbers are increased if the enemy has more HP. The first stage has a 40% chance to inflict deep HP burning 2 on the target for 2 turns, and the second stage additionally triggers the HP burning effect for once. So deep HP burning is a very good stat, especially with HP burners, and it increases the HP burning damage taken by 50%. Basically, his entire kit is around increasing HP burn damage, especially once he's got these exclusives, because he's increasing HP, he's applying deep HP burning, Sun's Punishment increases HP burning damage done, like all of these skills and exclusives that he's got, they all work with HP burning, so he is a phenomenal HP burn support, and he does a lot of damage himself. It's like insane. And then his S4 here deals 4 stages of damage to a single enemy, each of which deducts 7% max HP from himself, and then deals damage by 4% of his max HP and extra damage by 4% of his max HP. This extra damage is considered as HP burning damage, and if the target dies during Sunlight combo, Mamelo will attack a different target instead. This is very good for wave clear, and I will give an example of it in the Tower of Mort attack that we're going to do. And then in exclusive 3, if 3 or more enemies survive, each stage of Sunlight combo deals extra damage equal to 15% of the main target's damage to other enemies. If less than 3 enemies survive, increases damage dealt by Sunlight combo to the main target by 30%. So basically what that means is you deal more damage. And then depending on how many enemies are left, it increases by more or less. So this is a bit of a weird exclusive, but basically, you know, to layman's terms, it's just your damage goes up with S4. And then exclusive 5, it adds 2 stages, so this is really important. You now do 6 stages instead of 4 stages, and if a target dies during Sunlight combo, increases the damage dealt by the remaining stages to the main target by 30% each, and deals extra damage equal to 15% of the main target's damage taken to other enemies. So all of this just scales and scales and scales, and his damage goes up and up and up, and he becomes a damage dealing HP burn support, and it is like his damage is insane. He does more than Nita for me in my Faction Abyss attempts. So this is a very wordy, lengthy description of skills. Long story short, he does a lot of damage and he increases HP burn damage, and that is pretty much what you need to know about Mamelo. And the more exclusives that he has, the more support and damage capabilities that he has as well. And what we wanted to show was a few things that we've done with our Mamelo since we've got him. So first and foremost, we got wrecked right here. I mean, 3 runes for 100 runs at a 9% chance. Wow. But with that said, we are farming Sunset 29, and technically we could farm Sunset 30. It would just have a horrible rate. I think we were testing somewhere around 15 to 20% as a success rate. And the reason being is that it's just the damage difference that the boss deals between Sunset 29 and Sunset 30 is big. Our Nita is dying in one shot, even with, like, I'll put the 64% HP rate stamp on her and she still freaking dies. Our success on that depends on whether or not we survive that initial boss hit, which is not very often. So for now, we're just farming 29. We're trying to increase Mamelo's aura, Nita's aura, and you know, hopefully get some extra damage in PvP and PvE through this. We'll go ahead and claim these, and we're going to actually show you guys the team that we're using, the casts that we're using, and the stats that we're using. But we're going to start with the Tower of Mark because it is a bit shorter of a fight. And we'll just show you really quickly that we've managed to secure the fastest clear in floor 30. Right now we've got 11 clears, and the closest person to us is Bailey, or 11 turns, and the closest person to us is Bailey with 15. And typically what I've noticed with this team is that it's a 13 turn clear team, but the cooldown reduction emblem from Mamello, based off how this casting works, if this emblem right here takes effect, then we can do it in 11 turns. If it doesn't, it takes us 13. And it changes the way we cast too if it does take effect. But we'll just do a quick video. I'm not going to try to get this emblem to proc because it's a little bit too much RNG, you know, 12% chance. So if it procs, you'll see 11 turns. If it doesn't proc, you'll see 13. So let's take this off of, okay, we're gonna reset that. So what our cast looks like is S2 into Mamello, and this is where his E5 comes in handy. So you see that his turn starts and he deducted all this HP from the enemies right off the gate. He hasn't even done anything. They just all lost like 25% of their HP. Good little ability. But this, you know, it's a single target ability, but as it kills people, it inflicts damage to everybody else. So it's a phenomenal skill. Very good for wave clear, and you'll see it in the Faction Abyss as well when we do that fight. Then what we do is we S2 into Mamello again, and this is what I'm talking about with the oh, it took effect. Okay, this is gonna be 11 turns. So what we'll do here is this guy right here tends to survive, so we'll S2, but we'll click on him, and he did not survive, so I spoke too soon. Now what we'll do is we'll S2 into Mamello. We're going to put a basic attack on Catherine, kills her. We're going to use Ben S4, and we're going to kill this Serena, and now she's dead. We've got 9 turns. What we do at this point is we S4, and then we S4 with Mamello, and we hit the Ben. Oh no, I did that wrong. We were supposed to, man, that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I definitely messed up that cast. Crap, that doesn't happen. Dang it. So 13 turns, that's fine. It's no big deal. Geez, it's so far and few between that I actually get that 11, or that cooldown reduction. I'm curious. Let me try it one more time. I don't think that I'll get it, but oh, I cannot believe that I messed that up. That is so sad. Because we would have done 11 on camera. I've got a recording somewhere of the 11. Yeah, see, it didn't take effect this time, so this time it'll be 13 for sure. But it's no sense to play that. I mean, it's the same cast. Basically, I think what I've done wrong here is that, what did I do wrong? I'm trying to think here. I think that for the 11 turn clear, instead of doing the S2, I start with the S4. I think that's what it is. And then whenever I'm doing a 13 turn clear, I yeah. So this would be the 13 turn clear, and then at this point I do the, oh, maybe it's because his damage went up. Yeah, I think his damage went up, or no, his speed went up. I don't know. I've tuned him since I've done the 11 turn clear, so I'll have to restudy this to make the 11 turns. But dang, that really hurts my feelings because we could have got the 11 turn right there on camera. Anyways, I messed that up. No big deal. Just goes to show, though, just how strong that his abilities are. And we want to do the Affectionate Abyss. So one thing that I think that I've got to check real quick is Guhana, because I definitely steal her gear. So he's fine. Coltham is not fine. Give me a sec while we fix this. Just put a speed, whatever, on. Armor. We'll take that. And then that has 2 speed sets. Okay, and then Guhana, what we do is we make her really fast. We'll borrow BJ's thing and we'll jump into speed, and we'll borrow Popper's thing and Popper's thing. And then we'll jump into the here and we'll steal Popper's thing and Popper's thing. So now she's really fast, and that is pretty much all we need for this in particular. And we'll show you what our casts look like. So this casting does work for floor 30. It's just that it's not super successful for me in floor 30. So we start with the Mamello S2, we start with the Mamello S4, and then we just let them loose. For Nita, we start with S4, start with S2, let her loose. And then Alahan, I think that his exclusives are important here. So for Alahan, Guhana, and Coltham, we don't use any skills on wave 1. And then the same thing for wave 2, we don't use any skills except for Alahan. And the reason being is that this detach skill here inflicts a stun, and we rely heavily on this stun. So as you can see, we've even got stun hit blessings on him. And this is simply just because we are farming Sunset right now. So he's got about 130% effect hit, plus about 60% stun hit. So he's got almost 200% stun hit with this this build. And I haven't like optimized it by any means. I just put some stuff on him that had some effect hit just for this. And so that's the cast that we use. For the boss wave on all of these, we just kind of Guhana, we prioritize this one, but everyone else, I think that I like to start with this so that way I can recover at the end of it. And we don't even have skills fully done on these heroes. That's funny. But this is what it looks like, and we farmed 29. So we're just gonna quickly show you what an auto battle looks like with this team. So Nita does a large chunk, that's expected, and then Mamello finishes them off. Same thing, Nita does a decent sized little chunk. And what we rely on here is the stun hit, because Mamello's not going to finish off this team because they're very tanky and they have a lot of HP. So this stun right here, it prevents them from moving, and then we're able to pick them off after the S4 takes most of them. So you'll see Mamello does kill most of them, and then the team just cleans it up with basic attacks. But that stun hitting is very important for this particular farm. That's why you want the Alahan to have a lot of effect hit. Even his basic attack really chunks it down. That 4 does immense damage. I mean, he is a wild hero. This guy, he's nuts. And it's a pretty successful win rate farming this floor. That works for me. We can show floor 30, but it's not super successful. I don't even think that we'll survive it, because typically I do put the HP rate stamp on Nita, and like I said, it's very finicky whether or not she survives, and it's that first initial boss hit So Alahan lands his stuns, that's good, and then they die from the basic attacks and the DOT effects. I think we actually might win that round because we the crit RNG worked in our favor. I will say that the recovery horn for Guhana feels really important because there is a lot of healing that's needed on this team. That's why we're using Alahan. That's why we've got the recovery horn on Guhana. Because Mamello just, he is a suicide bomber. So healing him back up is really good. It also increases his damage. The higher his HP is, the more damage that he does because he's doing the blazing sun as opposed to the setting sun. So rather than recuperating, he's dishing damage, and that's kind of what you want. But it looks like we actually won that fight. Very good. Very good for the video. Yeah, so like I said, this is farmable. You can farm 430. It's just the conditions that you have to meet are a little bit tougher. So I farmed 29 for sake of conservation of my multi-battle stamina. As you saw at the, whenever I went to go claim those rewards, I had like 100 out of 109, I think. So it was a really good success rate, almost like 90-something%, and that's without even optimizing any of this gear. Like, none of this is optimized except for making sure that Guhana is higher than 2800. The rest of it's just like Mamello is his standard PvE build. Nita, she's in her PvP build. Alahan, I just put... Well, I will say that Alahan, he is somewhat optimized in the sense that I've fed him a lot of effect and stun hit. But I could do better if I felt like it. I just don't really want to mess with too many heroes because I do borrow gear to do this. And then, I mean, you saw what I did for Coltham. I just grabbed a freaking piece. So it's by no means an optimized build. If you took the time and had the stats, you could probably gear this team up to farm 100% on 430. As you can see, we are on the leaderboard. It looks like we are the 6th fastest clear. And people with Adeline happen to do a lot more damage because Adeline is busted. But I wish I had Adeline because maybe I could farm 430, but I don't have her, so I can't really test her. But you can see everybody is using Mamello. Bailey is the only person that did it without Mamello. But if that says anything about Mamello being a key, there you go. So it looks like E5 everywhere except for B2 or Kendaichi with the E4. Looks like a lot of people are using Elback. I would use Elback, but I don't have exclusives for him, and I do like the stun for Alahan. It does feel safe. I think that Elback does, what is it, HP cap increase? Oh, ally protection. Yeah, while he gains immortal, so that the Elback would probably actually be better. I could try to tweak this and put an Elback in place of Alahan. But the issue would be like surviving that second stage because, like I said, the effect hit for Alahan is really important for that stage. And then without optimizing any of my tunes for Wuthering Coast, we'll just quickly show you guys what a skip battle looks like to give you an idea of Mamello's damage. I don't know if I have gear on everybody, but just for sake of the video, we'll show you guys. So right here, 1.4 billion. This was not my max damage. Mamello did a lot here. I don't think that my Anji or my ASD are fully built right now, but still 1.4 billion without fully built heroes. And I believe that I recorded 1.56. We'll just take a quick peek and see. But the Mamello is carrying this team. Like he allows everybody to do more damage, and he does a lot of damage himself. So once you do pull your Adeline and you're looking at trying to improve your Wuthering Coast teams, the Mamello is going to be a solid choice for you to consider. Just because he's the best HP burn support. I'm trying to compare him to somebody. I can't quite say Mellet or Magdi because he does different things than they do. It's hard to compare him because, like I said, he's so unique. It's so much damage. He does so much damage, and damage increase too, and shielding for that matter, with HP burners. So 1.566. So that's what we did with a optimized Anji and optimized Adeline. I don't know how serious it would be to change their builds. Yeah, I think I just had like, I think I put this. I'm not going to try to optimize the builds because it's going to be a little bit more than I bargained for here. But yeah, that's what it is. Oh, I definitely had this on Adeline. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I didn't get the. Let's see one more time. Went up a little bit, but it wasn't perfect. I would really have to like retune it, and I don't want to. I'm not ready to retune it. I've already done it for the week. Not gonna do it again. But you can see that Mamello is doing a serious chunk of damage. It's wild. Another thing too is how this HP cap increase works. Let's just jump into a Tower of Mark and show you what his HP does. So we saw that he's 1.17 billion. And then once you jump into the fight, he has 1.679. That's interesting. Oh, that's right, because he's got more in the Faction Abyss. So 1.679. It's almost, what was that, 500 million that he increased by entering the fight. Of course, some of this is from his aura, and some of this is from his echo. And then when he does his S2, we'll just do. Actually, I want to risk something. See, I don't think we'll hit it, but. Okay, so when he does the S2, his HP cap increases. You see everybody gets the HP up, and his damage goes to, or his HP goes to 2.26 billion. So from 1.67 to 2.26, that's another almost 600 million. Like it's just insane. He is a insane freaking hero. So I guess the 50% from the self max HP cap is based off of his base like box stat. It's not based off of the in battle stat, because if it was 50% of the in battle, he would have gone up 800 here, but only about 600 because that's what he's got in the box. So either way, I mean, it's really good. Highly recommend Mamello. He's one of my favorite tunes. I really cannot wait to build him better. Like I said, he's phenomenal. I would love to make. The only problem that I've got with him is that my rolls, my gear for him, they're a lot of purple pieces that got turned into legendary, so I can't make them red. And it's going to take me a long time to find pieces that are like this. So he's got a mastery with HP rate +3. I can't make it red. He's got a effect hit with HP rate +3. I can't make it red. He's got a speed with HP rate +3 and HP +1. And I can't make it red. The only thing I was able to really make red was his boots. And there's no sense, in my opinion, to make the other ones red because... Maybe the ring, it could possibly roll into HP rate and it would add 8k HP, but this is such a minor amount of HP increase for, the cost of a red scale. So I would be praying for a HP rate roll, and I'm not going to gamble the scale and more so the 17 million gold on a 25% chance that it goes into HP rate. So this is kind of where we're at for a while until we eventually do some more farming and hopefully find some already legendary pieces that can become red and hopefully roll decent into HP rate. So that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely epic fail on the Tower of Mark. That was supposed to be 11 turns, and I botched my casting because it's a different cast. I believe that I'm supposed to start with the S4 instead of starting with the S2, but I can't place what I'm supposed to do now that I'm kind of like on the spotlight. I can't really place it. I cast it as if it was supposed to be a 13 turn clear, and that's what happened. So anyhow, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, Mamelo is the GOAT. He's phenomenal, and not only that, he looks like a major badass. Look at that sword. So hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you guys on the next one, and you know, I don't know what we're gonna post. I think we're getting ready to launch our FA series. Because we're close to E4 Agatha. We've got a few heroes left to upgrade before we make that final push. But for now, hope you enjoy the Mamello. I hope if you had any sort of questions about whether or not you were going to go for him, I hope that seeing him in action here, I hope that it, you know, clears a few things up for you. I hope that maybe seeing what his exclusives do, because like I said, the S4 becomes monstrous at E5. Lets you kind of make a more informed decision on, you know, like if this is a hero that you want to invest in, because EC heroes, they take a long time. It's a major investment. I think it's about 6 months if you clear all the special stages. I mean, it's a big deal to make an E5 hero. Thankfully, you can regress and get your exclusives back if you don't like somebody, like I did with Donald, but that's another story. Anyways, peace out. Catch you on the next one.